See how that.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, March 26th of 2024. And with me today, I have Don Schwenker,
Morning.
Lynn Flagel, myself, Mike Steinitz are your county supervisors. Lisa Smith, our county auditor, is here. Bjorn, IT director, is here. Mary from the media also. Luann is off today, visiting grandchildren, I think. So first on our agenda today is Mr. Todd Keeney, our Jackson County engineer. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, so we were recently notified by the DOT that we received a $2 million award for the County Bridge Construction Fund from the state for fiscal year 25. So that's the Iron Bridge Road Bridge. That's the same bridge that we're applying for the RAISE grant to. So between the RAISE grant and if we get the RAISE grant and this, we'll have to contribute a small portion of our actual Jackson County bridge replacement funds to get this bridge replaced. So
That's good news.
yeah, so we got 2 million for this one, and then it was 2 million for the
Channel work.
channel works too. So cool.
Nice job.
So this is just us saying the board agreeing to accept the money here down the road. They'll actually do a funding agreement that'll come back to the board. You guys will actually officially have to approve that for the funding agreement. So move to approve or accept.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the
Accepting the award.
accepting the award as presented. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the next item is a resolution to rescind three previous resolutions. And then approve the current dust control policy. And we're kind of changed this before. The resolution basically was the policy written in the resolution. Now the resolution is just going to say to approve the current policy, and then the policy will be separate from the resolution. The only change to the dust control policy was we changed the date from June to July. It was kind of a miss or error on our part. So that's the reason for the change.
I had somebody talk to me about the dust control policy because they usually get their in front of their house treated every year. And they think they're on a reclaiming route this year. And that I haven't got the map. Are you gonna print out the maps of what you're gonna do this year? Or?
Well, if somebody asks you that, tell them, go ahead and get the dust control. Because if they get it dust controlled, we will skip those. And what we did last year, if you recall, if they got a dust control permit and we were getting the road ready, we would shape the road, crown it before, and they would dust control it.
Right.
So don't.
I told them to call you, but I'm more asking, those maps you printed last year, these are the roads we're gonna do, and each of the were kind of handy.
Yeah,
Because it helped field questions, because he's like, they're gonna reclaim my road, and I was like, honestly, I had no idea.
we have the maps, but as soon as you guys approve the budget, we'll let them out.
So is that also coming with the 5-year road program Thursday night, maybe the map?
So we'll have the map. We already have the map, so we can talk about that. So I was gonna talk about that at the end, but so we'll do a PowerPoint presentation about the projects like we did last year. So I'll just get that, email it. I can't email it to you. Thumb drive it. Okay. Well, we'll have the maps of where the projects are located. We usually do it like, we'll have a map for the projects for the upcoming fiscal year 25, and then we have a map for the next 4 years, and then we'll have the rock maps as well. So, I mean, the question I had was, if you recall last year, we talked about the 5-year program projects, and then we spent probably an equal or bigger time talking about gravel road work. Do you still want to plan on doing that? Or do you think we'll need to do the same amount of discussion about the gravel road treatment stuff?
I would hope not, because
I think it
people
needs to
got
be
it.
discussed, but I don't think you need this, it shouldn't take.
Before
near
there
as
was
long.
no understanding of what was going on. They didn't know what it was. Now we've got a year, we've done, a quarter of the roads almost, or 110, 120 miles of it. People kind of see what it's doing. We've got a lot of positive feedback, so I would imagine there'll be fewer questions. other than where and when.
Well, I already got a PowerPoint put together. Edited from last year with some of our lessons learned, like things we'll do differently moving forward. So we'll talk about that. We'll have the actual PowerPoint on the projects. So we'll do, we got it covered
I
then.
would say you just put your program together and then we'll answer questions.
Okay, back to the dust control.
That's what up control.
That's all I got.
Wishes of the board?
So that is resolution. So he's, for the resolution is 1021-03 26 2024.
And we're sending 3 other ones.
Right, we can do that at the same time, correct?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is a second to rescind previous resolution and approve current resolution for the dust control policy. Number 1021-03-26-2024.
Shelby will put it on resolution. We wait for the board to approve it first.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item is the Jackson County Road Improvement Policy. We actually put this together last year and talked about it in a couple different meetings, but we never really, the board never took action on it. So we revised this, added some more language about dealing with level B and C roads as well. Initially, it was kind of dealt with petitions for paving predominantly. And then also talked about if we were gonna evaluate roads for stabilization, meaning upgrading the level of service, but they were still gonna be aggregate roads. And we talked, now we added the language about evaluating or of improving roads from level B or level C to level A. So there's language in there that talks about that. Attorney John Keys has reviewed it and found no issues with it, so.
I myself thought there was a lot of good information in that policy and you explained it very well. And I think we had a couple other comments when Jaden emailed that it looked pretty good.
I have a question. Not really with this, but level B, what is our duties to maintain? What do we do?
So we don't plow snow on it. We basically, it's a minimal maintenance road is what it's classified as. And we don't haul rock unless it's requested by the property owner, and then we bill the property owner back for that. So that's really what it is. You know, we may blade it a couple times a year. Like, it just depends on there's some level B roads that actually have a rock surface and there's some that are just pure dirt.
Right.
So it just depends on what the current surface is, but it's a reduced maintenance road is what it is.
And are we built, do you know, are we actually billing people?
Yes,
Cause I had a complaint from somebody that this one guy he has a level B and every time he does anything, he calls, they're getting rock all the time on it, blah, blah, blah. Why is it a level B?
yeah, because sometimes people think it's a level B and they don't know the exact limits of it, but to my knowledge, if it's a level B road, they're requesting rock. They're supposed to be paying for the rock for that. And one of the things that, and I've talked to Jaden about it, and Jaden's, I don't know if he's actually gotten started, but you guys have a lot of miles of level C and level B road, and we have some resolutions that stipulate the limits of, the terminus of where the level B starts and stops kind of thing. And sometimes we don't have resolutions for that, and it's still considered level B because that's just the way they've always maintained it. So what we're gonna do here over the next few months is we're gonna go out and survey the limits of what we're actually maintaining as level B, what we're maintaining as level C, and put that on a map. So we have a digital record of everything, and then we're gonna pass a resolution to approve each road that's level B so we're gonna do like what I would call a correcting resolution
Yeah.
and get everything on squared away, and then do the same thing for level C. And then we'll have a digital record with survey start stop points, so everybody knows where it's at and what it's classified as. And then along with that, we'll probably have to adjust some of our signage as well, but the intent is to basically get this cleaned up, so everything's kind of on the up and up.
One question I got is, what is the purpose of the level C road? I mean, when a road is declared level C, it's fenced off, only the property owners have access to it. But doesn't that mean we still maintain liability? Or, I mean, if we're willing to fence a road off so only property owners get it, why do you even have it anymore? Why is the county even maintaining?
So it most likely, in that scenario, it's usually a petition by property owners. Most of the time, it's a dead end road. But so like you have, say, I don't know, I need it. So you got a road that starts here and it dead ends over here, and you have, say, 4 different property owners, okay? And they all petition for it. You don't vacate it. They don't vacate it because one of these back property owners would lose access, meaning they'd have to get an easement over their property to get to their property. So you leave it level C and gate it. So it's just these 4 property owners get access, legal access, and they don't have to go through the process. If we vacated the road, then these 2 property owners that don't have access would have to condemn an easement from these other 2 properties. So that's why they don't want to do it.
Okay.
But once it's gated and somebody else comes on this property, that's considered a legal trespass. That's why they do it, because they kind of get the best of both worlds. It's their basically private road. It's still public access, but the only access is limited to people that have property. That's why they do it.
So also some of these level Bs have been improved, like for instance, 308 will have to be improved to the point with that improvement coming to that. So it's accessible to people to drive on, so it'll probably need some rock.
So in that case.
Right, I
we're
know
gonna-
that's different.
Yeah, we'll put our own rock
And
down
one
there.
other time, when 52 was getting redone, they put the bike path on that, and they chewed up a lot of that asphalt and rock, and we had the opportunity. We supplied the trucks, they give us the material, so we had put some on another dead or a level B, just.
Yeah, the reason you have a road as level B is because it doesn't need to be a level A, so
Well,
you
it's
do
not
it
up
as
to
reduced
standards
maintenance to
either.
save money. That's the reason why the state passed the ordinances to allow that, basically. To save, so counties could save money, they'd have less miles to maintain.
So we are still on our discussion on road improvement policy. I think we all had the opportunity to review that.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the road improvement policy as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
That on your website this week then?
Well, it can be.
People might wanna know.
When I get the signed policy in the board, I'll have Stacy put it up.
I'll be looking for it in the near future.
Next is the Eastern or Interstate Power and Light Energy Permit. It's a large work area. Entailed a lot of different Jackson County roads. It's actually, there's quite a bit of work in Flint County as well, but so this is doing work, maintenance, upgrading to existing poles, and then also replacing some existing poles with new poles. But it's basically maintenance of their overhead line. Just recommend approval. It's a big project, I would say.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the right of way utility permits for interstate light and power. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, moving right along. Already discussed about the 5-year program. We'll have the 2 different PowerPoints. I'll bring it on with Jump Drive. We did have, just as a heads up, we did have a grader and a vehicle accident on Friday. To my knowledge, there's no injuries. So we're in the process of submitting that through. So I don't know what'll come of that, but it didn't sound like we were at fault, so. But luckily, nobody was hurt, so. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, moving forward. And are there any visitors or citizens online? I don't see any present that would like to approach the board this morning. Kathy Bauer is on our schedule. I don't see Kathy yet. Lisa, when would you like to present? Do you want to wait or do you want to, do you want to do romance portion or?
I'm looking for. Let's do something. Yes, mine. Thank you. So yes, in the absence of Luann this morning, I will go through the supervisor's calendar for the coming week. Obviously, we are in session today. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock is the RPA or the Regional Planning Affiliation in Dubuque for both Don and Nin. At 10 o'clock, there's an IRIS board meeting in Dubuque or by Zoom for Nin. At 6:30 tomorrow night is the Jackson County Municipal League meeting here in Macokota, and Mike is scheduled for that. On Thursday, March 28th, we do have our public hearing on the proposed FY 2025 property tax levy. That is at 4:30, and that'll be followed at 6 o'clock for the public hearing on the 5-year road program. And looks like nothing on Friday, nothing next Monday, and back next Tuesday morning here for our regular scheduled meeting. The business that I have before the board today is I need a motion to approve the minutes of the March 19th, 2024 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes of the March 19th, 2024 board proceedings and written by Auditor Smith, publicized in the official newspaper. All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried.
I need a motion to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $274,331.56.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the claims as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
I need a motion to approve the renewal of a special Class C retail alcohol license with living quarters to the Oakland Mill LLC at 22095 Highway 64 here in Macokota, effective from May 1st, 2024 through April 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the special Class C retail alcohol license to the Oakland Mill as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried.
And I need a motion to approve a Class C retail alcohol license to Parker's Pit Stop LLC at 29418 Highway 52 Bellevue, effective from March 1st, 2024 through February 28th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second to approve a Class C retail alcohol license to Parker's Pit Stop LLC as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And just, I think for discussion, I did not bring the policy itself because I wasn't really sure what you wanted in the policy, but we are talking about our 2024 Jackson County procurement policy. I know that there's been several revisions to it. And I guess I need some direction from the board as far as how we move forward.
Yeah, it was rather likely the revisions as far as meet is the federal guidelines that we're looking to meet and keep our policy in updated. So I know there's an outside source that was working on some of that, and if possible, could you work with her a little bit and revise that some, or how would you like to do that?
We're gonna, from what we received from hers, we're gonna take it and we're gonna take out the crossed off things. We're going to take all the lines off it. It looks a little confusing with the lines on it. And we're gonna make all of the fonts kind of match up. So we're gonna clean it up. But I wasn't really sure if there's any revisions that.
Well, and speaking with Kelly yesterday, she said that she may, clean that up a little bit and have a couple revisions on questions that we may have. Now, if you have questions or concerns, I mean, regarding policy or procedures, I would certainly discuss with her if she would, or between the two of you, put some verbiage in to, you know, protect us, whatever it may be, but
I will visit with her this afternoon then,
yeah.
to see what else she has in the policy. So has she sent you any revisions
No,
since Sunday?
That was last night when
Okay,
yesterday afternoon after,
okay. Let me touch base with her. Let me see what revisions she's done.
she was in
And-
to be for the Prosperity Eastern Iowa and
Okay.
then, yeah, and I talked to her yesterday afternoon, so.
And so then when do you want to pass it?
I guess, she's been working with Homeland Security as far as the passage on this. If our drop dead date needs to, we have to have a special meeting, that's we'll do that, otherwise we'll do it on Tuesday.
Okay, so the goal is hopefully by next Tuesday, but if it needs to be done sooner than that, then we'll have to. Are you available, say like at 4 o'clock on Thursday? I know we'd have to schedule a special
We have a
meeting. then.
4:30 on
If it needs to
Thursday.
be
4:30 on Thursday, so yeah.
You can't do it at the 4:30 meeting.
No, I'm just
Okay,
saying,
yeah.
there's- we got the 4:30 meeting
Yep.
and then there's a 6 o'clock.
So if we
So,
need to,
yeah,
after
we
you
can do it.
get your
I'll be here anyway.
Okay, so. if
conversation, yeah,
If it's
then
gotta be passed before next Tuesday, tentatively, I would say let's plan for a 4 o'clock meeting so we get good division.
I would.
all of
My,
these
my question is, and granted, I was gone last week, so I'm trying to play a little catch up. Procurement policy, is this countywide for everything, or is this specific to federal funds in? Because,
So this is countywide, but the federal revisions that we are doing, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, only applies if there's federal money involved.
Correct.
Otherwise, I mean, basically, you know, it could even be a possibility that we'd have two policies, you know, a local.
Yeah, I mean, we still have those thresholds of the 10,000 and the 250,000.
Yeah.
So that hasn't changed at all, but, we have to follow these policies anyway. This just kind of puts it out into the open. These are what the policies are. The actual, if you go out and you look at the website, there's like 212 pages, I think it is, of the federal procurement policy. So.
So
we're
it's
only taking a
basically like the
snippet of
code
it.
of Iowa. We have to follow the code, be it
Yep.
this section or this section. So
Mhm.
instead of putting that number in there, go back and refer to the
Right.
federal procurement policy number 200-2.
yeah,
It's, a lot of it's spelled out in there.
Well, in visiting with Todd this morning, you
Yeah.
know, we just, accepted a $2 million, award. So all the time, we're following these policies. It's just that we need to adopt the policy to say that we're going to follow the policy, even though we are.
We basically have to update.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah.
so I'll work with.
So
Kelly
if
and I'll
we
get
can
back.
get that done, yeah, I mean, we can post
Okay.
it early
You just
enough,
want to
24
plan
hour
on it
notice.
Thursday, or do you know if it's?
I
gonna-
haven't talked to Kelly, so I really don't know.
Touch base.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
it would
and then-
probably be better to do it in our meeting if it's okay to wait that long, I think.
Well, see what she's got going on with Homeland Security there.
okay.
I know
All
there's contracts in place.
Expect an email from me when I have some of those answers.
Yep.
Okay, and that is all that I have for the board today.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
And at this time, is this Kathy?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Kathy Bauer is here today, and discussion on a Green Island citation that was issued. You want to come forward? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you just want to state your name for the public
My name is Kathy Bauer,
from,
Preston, Iowa.
okay. And we are on a Zoom meeting also, which is open to the public, so.
Okay.
And I guess if you want to just explain to us what's happening or what's going on, and
Okay, so I guess I'll just begin with,
I mean, and now I apologize, that it's not for, I mean, we've seen the pictures and the petition and that stuff, but just so the public is aware of what's.
Anybody else watching, so they're
Okay.
updated what's going on.
so, I've been married to Robert for 43 years. And before me, he purchased the bus in 79 from a gentleman called Bob Stratton from Macokota. And at that time, the bus was already 40 years old. And it had some transmission problems, so my husband took it to Timber City Diesel to have it repaired and its age and finding parts was difficult. So they kind of, I don't want to say destroyed it, but they made the situation worse. So its next home, it traveled from Macokota to Codfish Hollow Road, where his mother owned 500 acres, and it went back by the Macokota River and was there for some time, about 10 years, and that's where we first camped and canoed and spent time in the bus. So we rented for 10 years, first 10 years of our marriage, we rented. And the opportunity came about to purchase some land. And it happened to be the house in Green Island. We bought it from the people who did the dredging and slough work. They stayed in it. And they had a paper plate in the window for $2,500. We called them. And it has never had water. So we had somebody come to quote us a price for a well. But it's on the bluff side. So there's no place for a septic tank or a drainage bed. So that was kind of off the table. But our dream was to start a bait shop. And the bus was going to be part of that business enterprise. Actually, the phone number, the electric bill are all under Claw Country Enterprise. So we ended up having worms, but the parking on that street was horrible. The dream kind of fell through. So, from that point on, it's been there 30 years.
Do you have any kind of description or model number or anything else for that?
Yeah, I just took the title over there to get it updated. It's been in the safety deposit box for 45 years. At this point, I'm 65 today, and
Happy birthday.
thank you. So, a 39,
39.
it's 85 years old. And I have had Jim Johnson, who hauls tractors over in Miles,
Mhm.
has all the equipment and
Mhm.
the drop deck. He said it would destroy it to move it. It's just so old that he would not want to take on that task. So,
So, I mean, we kind of know the history there, all right, and it's been there for a long period of time, so you received a citation, I assume that it was a nuisance, is that?
well, that is a good point. My husband developed neuropathy, and he hasn't worked for 6 years. I still work, and yes, I'm sorry, the place has gone downhill. However, we have put forth a full effort. We took 8 truckloads of wood, metal, everything that was listed on the nuisance. There was a busted window that's been repaired. There's only a couple things remaining. I'm trying to find somebody to scrap out the axle. Otherwise, everything's gone but the bus. So, yeah, living in Preston and no water. However, when they disincorporated, I'm not sure what year that was, it's been some time. I had to rent a street light to keep the light on in front of my house, which has been $12 for over 30 years, so. I don't want Green Island to turn into a dump no more than any of the residents do, but this bus has been a big part of my life. My grandkids now are getting their senior pictures taken by the bus. And at the time I was turning my things in, my one grandson, the photography company that took his picture, it won an award and was in a magazine. It's pretty cool to see that. And then there was a lady from Rockford who commented on it. And this gentleman, Bob Hildebrand. He's a realtor. From rural in Clinton. He said that the bus is a landmark in the community. And I realize there's a person who wants the bus gone. However, I think there's hundreds of people that would like to see the bus stay. So
We've seen the petition and I think there was over 200.
250, something like that. Were there
Okay.
calls and letters?
I didn't get any calls.
The letters?
I didn't see any letters either.
There was a woman, Deb Graves, who lives. She wrote a letter to the supervisors as soon as the petition came out.
Mike, if I can interrupt, there was a letter from Deb Graves. I did email it to you.
Yeah, I think I did see that, correct myself. So I guess my issue is not so much the bus itself as maybe is there a health issue? Is there critters? I mean, I've seen it before and after pictures and I can appreciate the work you've done there. I can see that you've cleaned up a lot
I'll
of it.
do whatever it takes to keep the bus there.
No, and it's,
My question going forward would be, is it kind of secured up or closed up that nothing can get in there so that, you know, we
I don't
have.
want varmints living in there
Right,
either.
we don't have rattlesnake den or, you know,
Correct.
something that could end up being, you know, a little kid walks up there and a coon comes out,
No,
so.
there were a few windows through the years that have been gone and they're covered up.
My biggest thing is you drive around the county, you will see in people's yards, somebody has an old pickup or an old wagon buckboard from the 1800s in their landscape.
Correct.
And it looks very nice, the flower beds, it's got stone around it. I got no problem with anything like that.
Well,
There's a bunch of what people would
Debris.
consider to be refuse and debris and
yeah,
weeds and
and I
stakes and trees
understand that.
growing up in it. That don't look like landscaping, that looks
Right.
like junk piles and all that stuff,
The
so
only
a lot
problem,
of times it's a matter of perspective.
that bluff side
You know?
gets no sun afternoon.
Yeah.
So to plant flowers and bushes and nice,
Say you have to plant anything, it just
I'd
doesn't
say
need to look like.
just so they're not overgrown through the bus or, on top of it or, I mean, honestly, if it doesn't pose a health issue, I don't have a problem. I have one of them buckboards in my yard, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if it looks like it's being pulled and maintained and all that kind of
I
stuff.
mean, I've had people say, why don't you paint it and fix it up, but that would take away from the rustic.
I get the rustic. What I'm saying is, if there's weeds and trees
Nope,
and shrubs
that's
and
all
brush
gone.
growing up all around it, it's hard to argue it's a landmark.
That's gone.
That's just old.
So I think it
So,
kind of, I've talked to you in the past, very early, I think, when you got the or got the courtesy letter that they're gonna clean up.
Right, and that
And
was
we-
in the dead of winter, that was.
Right, and we kind of talked about, you know, as long as they're not one storing junk in it,
No,
you know, or treasures, maybe put it that way, that it's not becoming a warehouse or
are you the one that drove down and saw it?
yeah.
I've seen it many times, yeah. I
So-
drove past it a couple of weeks ago and I respect the improvements that you've done to it. There might be a little more that can be done, but.
Correct, I'm still working on it,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Like I said,
Um,
it's come a long ways, you know.
In
we
3
were just-
weeks, it was a full-fledged family, grandson, son-in-law who's a truck driver, and his day off, he was over there hauling, and
So,
the wood there's a wood stove in there, and the wood had been there so long.
Can you physically still open the door and get in it?
Oh, absolutely, there's pictures
Yeah.
of my
Is it
grandson.
empty?
There is a old sleigh bed from my grandma from 1980 that can be tossed.
So, just out of curiosity, if I drive by and take another look, if a person walked up to it is permissible?
Absolutely,
I won't get.
attacked by a coon.
There's no.
attack by a goon or somebody coming out with a shotgun.
Yeah,
to me, my biggest thing, as long as it looks, I've driven by and taken a look at it, as long as it looks like it's being maintained and groomed. Again, like I say, there's plenty of instances where people have old buckboards or cars or in their yards. And their yard is maintained, it's mowed,
Yeah.
it's groomed. that becomes to me longer,
I'm gonna only make it better.
you know what I mean? And it's just one of those, it got in a state of disrepair that it
Correct.
fell into that
It
category.
fell in, right.
did.
And
Things
that's,
can be done to take it out of that
And I
category.
will continue to, I have a bag of grass seed to plant and we raked and we're trying really hard to make it look a lot nicer.
You know,
Okay, so, Lori could be with us today. I see Ruth is here. You have any,
Lori's on Zoom.
I see her.
Mike, I'm here.
Is there any input from you or Ruth?
Mike, I'm here.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is there any input, comments?
I just thank her for the work that she has done. I was out there last week. I sent you guys the updated pictures. It looks amazing. Everything else that you've done. So we thank you for that. Other than that, I just want to remind you guys of the ordinance and how it reads that inoperable vehicles are motorized vehicles lacking a current registration or lacking component parts, so they are unfit or illegal for use on public roads. So just that's all I want to bring up. Well, and junk waste also includes dismantled or inoperable vehicles or machinery.
Okay, so I mean, we've gone through this before and we've actually stated, you know, we're going on a case by case basis, so I guess my thoughts are we're gonna continue to monitor. Let the site visible. And I will probably personally stop and take a look at the old girl.
Again, to me, I understand, Lori, what the ordinance reads. But there's to me, a difference between a junk car that's abandoned and laying up in weeds and growing up in brush, growing in it, animals living in it. And something that's being maintained, because you can drive around all over the county and see people, over by Monmouth, there's somebody got an old truck set up in their yard as ornamentation. So you can't tell me that's a registered vehicle. You can't tell me it's an operable, it operates, you can't, you know, there's a lot of different things. You go over to Wyoming, you see a great big truck sitting on top of a sign. You know, is that an abandoned junk? Does that need to be
you
run?
have.
It's probably gonna
North
fall
and
down at
Jackson
some
County,
point, but-
As we talked with the
You
traffic.
know,
Yeah,
it's,
we can only work with Jackson County. So, but I understand it. I totally understand.
You know.
Um,
to me, it's
and then,
it
I'm
has to
sorry.
be maintained.
correct.
It isn't a one time we cleaned it up, we checked the box and a year from now,
No,
weeds are growing back and all that stuff.
not gonna happen.
Then it will probably not, to me, it won't be viewed in the same light,
Okay,
you know.
I,
I'm gonna
I
read the
understand.
definition of a relic. An object surviving from an earlier time. Only one of historical or sentimental interest. That could be a relic, no.
it's a very
It's
iconic.
an antique collector's
It's a
item.
very iconic relic. It reminds me of the Partridge Family bus. You know,
That's not big enough.
Okay, well, we don't wanna take up your time. I mean, we're sympathetic to the point,
I really appreciate
you
that.
know,
It's,
it's gotta be maintained. That's what, like Don said.
we will,
Appreciate that, and we will keep in contact with Lori and Ruth as far as their findings and.
See if you
go
got some
from there.
Eagle Scouts over there looking for a project.
Yeah.
oh, that's a great idea.
Service hours, call the school.
Service hours,
Great idea.
you know, get it up and situated the way it should be, and then that's a lot easier to maintain.
Okay.
But again, to me. there's
Now,
a
does it
difference.
help to, register it? Cause that's what I was doing over there to register it.
No,
It makes no difference for us, on the zoning side.
Okay,
It's nice that you have that title, though. Don't lose that.
they're having a hard time getting, it's decrepit. I mean, it's very,
Yeah, no.
I just, to spend $25 just to update the title, to have numbers, they're really struggling over there trying to come up with the title number. There's a couple numbers missing, but they're searching really hard over there for me, so.
So we'll do our best to comply if you can do your best to comply.
I would say, cause right now there's she's in violation, correct? You issued.
There's a what,
You
what, say that again?
in violation right now, is that what you're saying?
Well, the other stuff they've cleaned up. So it sounds like, and from what I saw, Kathy, when I was out there last week, like I said, it looks amazing. What you guys have done. And I mean, she attested there was 8 loads of stuff that came out of that. So that's a big difference. So to me, it just looked like we were down to, on our end, just, the bus. Well, you were talking to, that chassis that was still there. So you're still working on that. But what a significant improvement, and we thank you. But other than that, things are looking good, but I'll go ahead and grant a 30-day extension for the other violations that are still there. And then let the board, board's determination on the bus. All right?
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yep.
and expect visitors, yeah.
So the only other thing was a decrepit building.
The house,
Is that the house or that building
No,
that
it's
you
a
have
little
the
building that-
sign on that says
And I-
save the bus?
And yeah, my son-in-law would like to tear it down and dismantle it, and that would not be a weekend job, so. If,
Again, as long as we see improvement.
I mean, I could like, it's got a metal roof and I could put some boards on it and paint it and make it a lot nicer without.
Yeah. Because actually, Kathy, there's 3.
Yeah, some of them, one is the grandfathered outhouse and one is an old chicken coop. So you want them gone too?
Well, and then too, the outhouse, is it really grandfathered? That would be a question for the health department.
It was
Because
grand-
I'm not sure how that actually works, and she's gonna know more about that. Especially if it's one that you're still using.
extension, as what we just heard and was recorded. So
I'll
you got
follow
30
through
days
with
to
it.
clarify, we don't need to hash this out.
Used to have
You got 30
conversations.
So
days.
who's the one I talked to about grandfather?
Down, down where zoning is, right next to the county sanitarian.
Okay.
Right in the other top.
She'll be able to answer that
Yeah.
for me. And I could paint that.
And be in contact with Lori and you guys have conversation back and forth.
Okay.
I'll be back in the office at the end of the week.
Right now,
For
so,
me?
if you get Ruth your phone number
You can
and
talk to me and I'll get a message to Elizabeth.
Okay. You did my birthday, thank you.
Yep, good luck.
Have a really nice day.
Yeah, you're good. Thanks. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Ruth.
Thanks, guys.
Nathan Jones, Jackson County Conservation Director. Good morning. Winner, right there. Nathan's a winner.
We're finally getting some rain.
A little bit of rain.
Is Spruce Creek gonna be done before it goes up to 8 feet next week?
Looks like there was silent to drive yet. That was like,
There's 3, and Alex was there this morning, and I missed a call as I was sitting in there with the engineer on that. So that's positive. My whole worry was like, we gotta get these damn pilings in before that.
I know, I looked at the river today and just what
Yeah.
they show on the app, right now it's at 4.6.
Yeah,
Next Monday it's supposed to be 8.3.
yeah. So
So as a boater, I'm like, hallelujah, I'm like, please, get it.
he was able to work till 10.5 last year on the elevation at Bellevue Beach. So, but
so I did drive up there yesterday, or day before, and yeah, there was only 2 left to drive, 2 or 3 left to drive, and they were real close to the.
yeah, and they're up the hill a little bit, so, he's moved to tiebacks now, is what he took, cause Alex is looking at, we got that grant to redo that ramp. And I said, why would we spend money to have them put it in now and we have to tear it back out if we're gonna widen the ramp?
That's
right
right.
there? So Alex was gonna get back with me and see,
When we turn it around.
well, we're still waiting on state permits on that. So.
Better get it in, leave it in.
Everything I'm doing, it seems like I'm waiting on a damn permit.
I'm just saying, last year we couldn't put the boat docks in because of water and
Yeah.
now
No,
are we gonna?
we better not be,
we're not gonna tear a ramp out.
I hope that'll be a fall project at this point, as my,
Just-
yeah, I hope so. I don't think we can get it in this spring before. Unless something happens in the next week. So,
I think that ramp is fine, true.
it has one spot where it's broke off and,
Just down under the water. it's a
Yeah.
lip.
yeah, some people.
Well, if we could get some funding to put a nice new ramp in there and double it wide,
Yeah, well,
That's a
makes
busy
sense,
ramp.
and maybe make a little sidewalk to the side, so if we could pivot that wall a little bit now before he puts it in, to
Yeah.
widen that space out.
The only people I ever see have trouble there is they hit that lip with their boat trailer tires. And they have a two-wheel drive vehicle and it's been heavily used, so their tires are on wet concrete. And
Yeah,
they sit there and just spin.
yeah, so, but that, I mean, we filled it with rock and the holes and stuff in the ramp, and we try to make it still. Until, I think it'll be fine until whenever we can get to it. But yeah, that project's, at least the pilings are almost done,
Yeah.
that made me feel a lot better than.
Improvement.
He had a record day last week or something, I couldn't believe how many he got done in one day.
There's quite a pile there.
What?
There's a big pile of material there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirt to move that machine on there, so. Yeah, that project's moving along, they're starting to get water moving into the Dresler addition, which would be connecting to Spruce. Have a meeting with them the end of this week on our contract as a county. With that. As a harbor, we drew, we did the dock draw, we had one opening from last year that didn't pay at the board meeting. And I cannot remember the name we drew. I'm sorry about that. So, but we're kind of moving into spring work here and getting that stuff moving.
Do you ever proceed or hear any more about that little frontage or whatever?
I haven't heard anything. The last thing I heard from the person in the Corps, which it transferred offices, I guess, personnel, they were supposed to set up a meeting with me to try to figure out, and it's gone nowhere since then. That's been probably a month and a half ago.
Good.
So that hasn't gone anywhere. Yeah, so those are kind of the Spruce Creek main projects. We're working on some agreements. With the Historic Society is one of them. I think I brought that up last month. Our board has reviewed kind of what I've typed up. Got review from county insurance yesterday on it. I've gotten review from the county attorney, so now I just need to get with Bonnie Mitchell with the Historic Society and give her that offer, see if they agree or disagree to the proposal. But that was kind of one of the things brought up in that meeting. Also been working on another agreement. We have to have an agreement in place with the city of Macokota on the water quality portion of the project at Prairie Creek. We already have a 2080 with the city on the destination Iowa. So that's been a project we're kind of pouring along. I finally sent it to Lisa yesterday, kind of get it ball rolling on that and get that project kind of moving. We have been brought to question on some of the engineering and whether things are getting put in or not by our engineer side from the study. So, there's gonna be some push and comments weekly, probably try to get that, make the city feel comfortable on what's going on from Alex and plans there. We are still waiting on a DOT permit and floodplain permit on that project. We have the floodplain permit on the water quality portion, so that at least that one's set and ready to move once the city has funds available to pay for the 1.2 million. So those are kind of our main projects we got working and flowing right now. Yeah. Just so you're aware, we bid out the stairs several times, didn't get bids at the center. Back, we had one bid and then the contractor was unable to fulfill his contract. So this last meeting, the board approved a bid from a board member. He abstained from vote. He put a bid in to do the stairs, and that was a requirement from our insurance to get a second escape from the building, so that was just a little over $5,000 to get those stairs built off the backside of the center. So that was kind of pretty much our last board meeting in a nutshell.
But you have the material.
We have the
Yes, I was
material,
gonna say, I
so
think we talked about that before the end of the
Yep.
budget year.
yep, so we have the material. There probably will be a little bit of stuff that if our planning wasn't correct, or
Mhm.
there'll be a little bit of half the pie, but hopefully we aren't much over that cost and then on that. And we can get that one off the list as it's sat there forever.
Well, we thank him for doing that, actually. Yeah, it's hard to get a contractor. They're all busy, so
Yep. Yep, so, yeah, that's about what I have for you guys.
So that's all fairly good news.
Yep, do you have anything for me?
Nate and I continue to work on some insurance things, but we're moving forward. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things going on right now, but we had another discussion yesterday and we need to comply with a couple of insurance requirements and
Yeah,
hopefully we'll get that done this week.
yeah, trying to figure out some of our old
Yeah.
agreements and who owns what and manages what on a few properties is not
Yeah.
always the easiest thing if the files
I
aren't
mean,
worded.
unfortunately, we have some question marks.
And just to refresh my memory, the insurance out at the lime kilns. It's covering that?
It is not us. It is not our property.
And, yeah, and that 2080 we put in there, and that was the only comment from the insurance, is I had it as liability insurance will be carried by the Historic Society on this property. They are in charge of all volunteers, and the volunteer waivers are on them. Our insurance, and I think I had worded it accident, our insurance wanted me to remove the accident and just say liability insurance. And they also asked that it'd be wise to add $1 million to it, just to cover, if we're gonna mow it and something happens, they wanna just have at least $1 million coverage on that.
Pretty normal anymore. I mean, that's
So,
basically the minimum, so.
yep. So.
Yeah, no, just so, I mean, I guess if you need verbiage, I guess the insurance company would be the best, probably, you know, they're covering, so.
Yep, so that's where we're going, and I think at that point, it removes all liability. We'll be removing our signs out there. And I told Lisa, I said, if the Historic Society wants a new sign that where ours sat in that thing, we can route her out as one that removes our name and puts their name on it, if they'd like that.
Yeah, work together with them, you
Yep.
know, yeah, as long as we're got our behinds covered, we're good.
Yep, so, yep, at some point I'll be reaching to Bonnie again here and getting that signed hopefully.
We're expecting a good camping season, the way it looks. I mean, we don't expect any flooding. I know they got quite a bit of moisture up north, so that's gonna help our river level a little bit.
Yeah,
Well, we could use it, to be honest. Their barges are coming half loaded the way that they're telling me, so.
yeah, we need moisture. We started pumping we put a little water in the marsh last week.
Yeah.
And then we filled the pond at Prairie Creek back up, and then our pump has a radiator leak now, so.
Well, if you use something, you're bound to fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw you putting water in over it.
yeah, we pumped it to a point, we thought, at least it looks decent. But is it?
Well, it's nice to see that pump being used. There was
Yeah.
quite a project to put that in, to have
Yeah.
that capacity just to let it.
It was quite a project to get it to start siphoning, to draw that far with the river running that low.
We got a gallon bucket filled.
Oh, man. We couldn't
Prime it.
get it to suck for a while there, but it finally went.
That's a big primer bulb on the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, so
Start jumping on it.
we decided that was the cost efficient point to quit,
Uh,
because it could cost a fortune to fill it actually up the boards a ways, but it looks good.
Well, hopefully we get some more
Starting to use it.
moisture and, you know, things will level out here, so.
That's our goal,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens in the coming future, so.
So are we prepared for the camping season, I take it?
Yep, there's some final cleanup stuff.
Sure.
but Yeah, I think we're about ready, so. I think the crew's building docks in the shed this morning and getting ready to just get that last few winter projects done. Before things will happen here quick,
Cool.
times we went around. So,
All right, appreciate it.
yep, you want me to stay up here, Jeannie?
Jeannie? Jeannie Collins is here for, she's our Jackson County Weed Commissioner. Good morning,
Good morning.
and you're here for,
The noxious weed
okay,
resolution.
so yearly, we have to update our noxious, weed resolution, whether it needs, new or updated weeds or other items that may have be needed to be added, so yearly we update it or approve it. I don't think there was any additions this year, is that correct?
Well, I guess,
Yeah, we had talked about an item on number 5 that isn't consistent with what our weed commissioner code reads. And, the weed commissioner code reads that, the county is responsible for noxious weeds in the right of way. And that reads that the landowner shall cut weeds in the right of way. So,
That's been in there forever.
And we don't know if we can override Iowa code with the resolution. Is, I don't,
You
actually,
can.
we can't.
We've talked about that and Todd's talked about it and it's been in there for a long, long time. I went back and looked at a couple different ones from the past. But, I mean, if that's a change that needs to be done, well, you know, we can't, it's never been enforced.
Does that mean
No.
all weeds or just obnoxious weeds in the Iowa
noxious
code?
weeds,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's just.
Because this on number 5 says all weeds and brush.
Well, I guess everybody looks as a, what a weed to one person isn't a weed to somebody else.
The weeds are all noxious to me.
Yeah. Some people would, and I guess I would take that as our listed weeds on the top. You know, so, and that was, we just came from Todd. Sounds like Clinton County doesn't do this resolution every year. They have one set and it matches what their roadside plan says. And if they need to change something, they do it, you know, every once in a while, but it's not something we have to bring up
Well,
every year.
if that's something we can,
We're open.
yeah, we are open.
Try to keep lists on your tables for the future, maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it if it worked out. I mean, as
There's
far
not a
as the.
change in it, you know,
As long as we
obviously,
don't
if you're
alter it.
adding weeds to it, then we would have to change it or
Yeah.
update it.
So the only one would be line 5. We could table it. I know there's trial going on. We can get with the county attorney to look at that. But I mean, I think we're in agreement. We can't.
I think there might be a deadline on the publishing date for the paper, and I'm not sure what that is without.
I don't have a problem taking it down. It's never been enforced anyway. I mean, the landowners normally in the past have maintained, you know, the right of way and what you want to call a fence line. Most fence lines are not being used or they're growed up with trees and brush. You can't make fence anyway. So when it comes time to doing it, they doze it out and they put a new one in. So if they need.
I guess going forward, if we're taking that out and it is our responsibility to maintain that. You know, there was some rumor out there that, oh, they want us. Property owners want called before their ditches are mowed or whatever. Well, you ain't gonna get anything done if you're doing that.
Well, it's a right of way. So it's done for liability reasons, insurance reasons.
Right,
uh,
but that's what I'm saying.
Visibility,
You know,
you have, a lot of these roads, you have to get some sunshine on them. Otherwise, we have hazardous roads for months and months, you know, with
Yeah.
ice and whatnot. So
If you want to pass the resolution today, well, it's not on resolution paper yet, we just take that number 5 off. And then, you know, it would be a corrected resolution.
you have it there?
Yeah.
I really do.
But
Cause here it says other than. Noxious weeds. On county roadways.
Yeah, I think there's about 2 or 3 state codes. I don't know if that follows when I start digging around.
317 is what I read.
First,
yesterday.
317.1.
Yeah, 317 is what I read
Yeah.
yesterday.
I mean, a lot of property owners, you know, as of late, I have noticed they've been pulling a lot of these old cedar trees out and
Yeah,
some of that brush and maintaining it and it's.
I think the ones that are, they're gonna do it if they care.
Yeah. Well, and we get complaints in the summertime, you pull up the stop sign and the visibility is horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I can't see if there's a car coming unless you get your nose out in the middle of the intersection. Well, it needs to be maintained, you know. So the right of way, and the right of way changes from time to time
Oh, yeah.
with roads, variations and, you know, structured and.
We dealt with that yesterday.
So if you have a deadline, I don't have a problem,
I would say, I would make a motion, we approve this removing item 5.
So you're gonna approve resolution 1022-03-26-2024. And I will, when I bring it, I will have number 5 taken off the resolution.
I have a motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the noxious weed violation as corrected and resolution number that was presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And I would just ask in the future if you could coordinate more with Todd or with Jaden, if there's a better way we can do this where we don't have to keep doing it every year. We would be open to that. We can just kind of incorporate that and then go with it.
So we kind of working on a roadside vegetation program, and you kind of started that a year or two ago, and you know, I understand time and material may be some issues, so. I mean, we talked to Todd about that too, so I think we need to work together with
Yeah,
secondary roads for sure.
I think we're getting better communication over there with the new engineer.
I've actually, honest to God, I have had several calls in the past week of people on outside roads that commending the work that the county's doing, cleaning up some of that brush.
We're gonna have happy people, players.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you know, and then I also get some say that, you know, you're destroying the tree line. I said, well, basically anything we're doing is in the right of way unless someone hired him to do more, because he's not doing any more than our right of way. Okay,
Thank you very much.
appreciate it.
Notice you have that nice.
I know, well, the video's turned around, you can't see.
All right, Lisa, are you complete?
I am done. Thank you,
All right.
thanks, guys.
And I guess Lou Ann's done too, isn't she?
Yep.
Any other boards or commissions that anybody needs to report on?
I had a meeting with early childhood. If you're seeing the blue pinwheels out this next month, they're supposed to be kind of a symbolizing for preventing child abuse, so. If you notice them out and about, that's what they're out there for.
It's not a nuisance.
It's not a nuisance. Conservation Board met, obviously, they talked about what went on there. They did do their dock deal. They have seems like every year that when that comes up, there's always a little bit of an issue. Them docks are non-transferable down a family line, therefore that person who it's assigned to and the boat in there should be for that person of who it's assigned to. So I can't have it and have my son have his boat in there. And they do checks on that, and they're gonna upgrade the checks that they are doing because they're getting a lot of complaints, so.
It always had been contentious. There's not enough docks for the number of boats and
I think they said they had 45 people in the
list.
one dock slip lottery draw this year. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know that we're gonna make our harbor any bigger, but. So anyway,
Motion adjourned.
Second,
have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in Landon, or you want to approach the board today? I see somebody on the Zoom meeting by the name of Landon. Are you available there, Landon? You're muted. Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor of
oh, there
adjournment?
he is.
Whoops.
There
Okay.
we go. Sorry, I had the right button. No, I'm just listening to I'm just listening on the Zoom meeting. I was curious on the solar energy project, I guess. So
The solar energy. project.
Solar energy.
So,
didn't know if
process of having an ordinance for solar and
that's it
wind.
or not.
I'm sorry?
Say it again, Landon, you cut out.
Yeah, the ordinances for solar and wind. I guess that's what I was curious about. Was what ordinances are currently in place for solar and wind? Because I know we're going through an issue down in Clinton County where basically the ordinances aren't up to date with what's currently being
Right now, the
proposed.
biggest thing we got going on is issuing a moratorium on holding off on approving anything until we get our ordinances up to date.
Okay, yep. Would you guys looked into, I guess, what ordinances you are, ordinances look appropriate for these?
We've actually looked at a lot of them and contacted other counties as far as what they have in their ordinances and might be good for us, drop area, all these kind of things. I guess the best person to maybe talk to would be zoning. She's working on putting something together. She may be able to give you an update of where she's currently at with it.
Okay, and who would that be?
Lori?
Lori Rolling, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, no, I was just curious. I seen that was on the agenda for the solar energy projects, I think, so that's why I was just listening on.
Wasn't on our agenda today.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's always
So
on.
that's kind of ongoing, Landon, just because we're working on doing our ordinance. We haven't gotten it complete yet.
Gotcha. Okay,
I-
no, that's the main reason I came on, so I was just, basically down in Clinton County, like, I'm sure you guys are well aware that of the big wind project that they're trying to propose. 580-foot tall turbines. And I'm concerned about, there's two things. One, first would be height restrictions due to our Doppler radar in the Quad Cities. I know Scott County has a maximum height of 200 feet for any wind turbines because they do cause interference and they can cause inaccuracies in the radar systems for predicting storms and severe weather. The other thing would be the owner of the rights of neighboring property owners if these things, they do create noise and do cause a vibration. Just that is maintained on the property of the windmill and doesn't expand past that to affect neighboring property.
A lot of things between shadow flicker and the red light strobe effect and the sound, there's just a lot of things all being considered.
Yes, exactly. And I don't think it's fair to neighboring properties to have to deal with all those issues. If it can be, if it's contained on that person's property that wants to put it up, that's totally fine. That's a different story. But when it starts getting onto neighboring properties, that disrupts everybody else out there in the country also.
Well, again, Lennon, it's all things that will be discussed, especially in a public hearing. So again, I would voice your concerns to Lori and give her your information so you're updated and notified when the public hearing and what it's gonna read and so on and so forth.
Okay, I will do that. So
All
thank
right.
you for hearing me out today.
Good day.
Yeah.
Anything else before the board this morning? I do have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Thank you.